two long readings today with lots of details in the readings as well. But I want to kind of try to, I don't want to ignore all of that good stuff, but I think it points to this spiritual battle. You know, what are traditionally our three enemies in our spiritual lives? The world, the flesh, and the devil, right? Y'all have all heard that once or twice, I hope. The world, the flesh, and the devil. And when we have King David, and King David is did you notice where he was when he's walking out of his stronghold, escaping from his son? Did you notice the geographical location? Mount of Olives. It's on the Mount of Olives. What do we think when we hear Mount of Olives? Who are we thinking of when we think of somebody suffering on the Mount of Olives? Well, David is a forerunner of Christ, okay? And so this is kind of David's passion in some respects. But David has suffered from his own sins, okay? And I think he's kind of reflective on the missteps of his life. And he's thinking about, Shimei throwing these stones at him and cursing him. And it's a very sad moment for David, because it's not just that Shimei is throwing stones at him and calling him a murderer. His own son is out to kill him and take the kingship. And so David is suffering from his own sinfulness. He's also suffering from his son's sinfulness. So his own flesh has caused him problems. The world, if you will, the sins of the world is causing him problems. And what is his response to these things? What is his response? Those of you that read Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, I think this was one of the examples of how David said, I'm receiving these curses from the hand of the Lord. He just accepted this difficult moment. The Lord has told Shimei to curse me. Maybe the Lord will bless me. And, he walks off being stoned by Shimei, and the sin of the world and his own sin. And then we come to the gospel and we have the battle with Legion. And the sense that I got as I read the gospel this morning was this power beyond our capacity to fight. Legion was too strong for the chains. He was too strong for any human power, if you will. So what did we need? What did he need? What did the man need? He needed the power of Christ. And what do we need? We need, first of all, I think, to recognize the world, the flesh, and the devil. Our own sinfulness and the consequences of our own sinfulness. But not all the problems that we have in life are our own sinfulness. We have the world and our own flesh. And it's not just the world and our own flesh. We have yet another challenge: the devil. And so we see these three elements. And again, 1,000 details in these two stories, but what floated up to the top, at least for me this morning, was this spiritual battle. And so we pray that we would overcome the weakness of our flesh. And that when we suffer the consequences of our own sinfulness and the consequences of the sin of the world around us. Absalom had no right to rise up in rebellion against David. Absalom was disrespecting and dishonoring his father and dishonoring the kingship. All kinds of sin cast on Absalom's head too. But David understood, I'm suffering from my own sin and Absalom as well. And so we too suffer. And we have recourse to what the lunatic or the man in the tombs there. And again, that's another element. He's among the dead, and Christ is coming to bring him back to life. And so today we pray for the grace of God to protect us and to heal us. And we receive from the hand of the Lord the difficulties that we have, and we strive to carry our cross in obedience to and in imitation of Christ.